watch Survivor, and when the show ends, you really want to talk about it with like-minded friends. It might be hard to find some, but don't you shed a tear. Check out the Purple Rock Podcast, and this is what you'll hear. John will make some dumb jokes, Andy likes to yell and curse, and if they're not available, the backup hosts are so much worse. Spend the whole time being jerks, telling you you're wrong, and so we got this other jerk to sing you our theme song. It's the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast.
Welcome to the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast. I am John. My co-host is Andy. This week we're talking Survivor 50, Episode 5. Andy, some would say we're the best to ever do it. But none of them will say that in a posted review because I've read our reviews. They do not say shit like that, which is honestly for the best because I prefer the reviews that try to insult us. The genuine praise just makes me genuinely uncomfortable inside. What is your favorite review we've ever had, Andy? Because we've had some bangers.
Probably the one that called us racist for suggesting that Adam was a poor choice in a jumping challenge.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's the best.
That one's up there for
certainly it was his race why we thought.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe we shouldn't choose him to reach something up high.
I remember there was at one point one that said that I was like deeply jealous of Stephen Fishback. That was a gem.
Accurate.
Yeah, amazing.
Facts. That's just facts.
Right. I mean, it's really more this like kind of want to get in his pants. Like it's just this weird man crush that I have. But desperately jealous also works. Sure. Anyway, we should talk actual Survivor at some point. And also, I want to encourage people, like, if you're gonna leave us a review, just fucking tear us to shreds. I mean, I don't really care about the number of stars you leave, but just make it funny, make it bleed. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, those are the ones I will remember.
We often forget that that's a thing. Like I probably stumble upon it like maybe once a year at that. Like apparently you can leave comments and stuff on Spotify.
Yeah, that's the thing is you are always the one that finds them. And it's like, then you bring them into the chat and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Reviews are a thing. And then you find the gems and you share them with us.
Imagine like YouTube Music where you can now subscribe to the podcast.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, should shout out to the few of you who hit us with fan mail and were like, hey, put your shit on YouTube Music. Okay, we did it.
Yeah,
there you go. Enjoy.
Hard. Yeah. To the point where I hope that's a recent thing because we used to have to put some real work into like making those into like a video.
Yeah. And now it just does that shit for you.
Yeah. Which like with no more than what we did. All we did was a still image with audio and all that. But yeah.
And it does the same shit for us with no effort whatsoever. Like they're speaking our language. No effort whatsoever. That's all you had to say and we were sold. Anyway. Speaking of minimal effort, let's talk this week's episode. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I think like there's enough people on this cast, I'd still say the majority of the remaining cast, that can deliver so that like it's always going to be kind of interesting and compelling just seeing these people interact, do their thing. I don't know that I didn't love it. In part results, a bit of a bummer.
Yep.
But also it's like I don't feel like I got takes, John. I'm sure I'll find them, but it was kind of like, yeah, that was an episode that happened, So, but we'll see how this goes.
Did you go look around for some comments to rile up the blood?
I didn't, but this is a week where I could have used some.
See,
absolutely. I feel like I'm just going to be like even keeled and measured with my analysis, and who the fuck needs that?
So fucking boring. Could listen to any Survivor podcast for that. There's probably like 40 others at this point you can listen to.
Well, it's so profitable. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. I mean, that we could practically retire on the income of our Survivor podcast.
But as I talked about last week with fan mail, not quitting. We're not going anywhere. That's what we do.
Yeah, I was also apparently you took that question about like us quitting. It was like you're gonna just answer it for you.
Yes, that's all I did. Just for me.
Fuck you. I would never have heard your answer. I only know that because I suggested.
That's why I did it.
I would only suggest, I only knew that because I suggested to you that this week we should talk about that question. You're like, yeah, I answered that last week. I'm like, how would I possibly know this? What, in what universe would I know that? Anyway, back to the episode. I mean, I kind of agree with you, like in the fact that I enjoyed it. But the part that I didn't like is that there was like a 33% chance that the team that I didn't want to be immune would be immune. And that's exactly what happened. Like, the odds were strongly in favor of me getting the tribe that I wanted to go to tribal council. Like, I was like, okay, well, 2/3 shot, pretty good odds. I'm liking how this could shake out. And no, that it just didn't happen. Even the start of the challenge made me think like, this could happen. Nope, didn't.
Yeah. And really, the type of challenge it was, that anybody could have won that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not in every given challenge or the odds even, but it's like, yeah, man, just land the bags or you don't. So yeah, no, I would have enjoyed it a lot more if they had gone than frankly either one of the ones that went. But yeah. But at the same time, like I'm not like crushed by the results based on how the season's been going so far. But it was like I didn't leave the episode feeling pumped or anything,
Right. I mean, well, let's talk about some of those results because the results should have fucking stung, right? Like we lost Angelina, which to me, obviously, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, if you listened during David versus Goliath or our preview from the season, like this was why I was hyped for this season. Like I wanted Angelina. Everything else was window dressing, right? Like beyond that, you're just playing with house money. Whoever you get, I don't care because you got Angelina. And then she's gone and I'm like, fine. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan. I don't think we were going to get the Angelina that I wanted. And like this Angelina wanted to prove she was something different than she was the first time, and that was boring. Like it's just that's not what I was interested in. And I understand why she might want to be different, but me as a viewer doesn't want something different. Give me more of the same shit. You were great the first time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, you cannot know this. We talked about this last week, but how I just don't know that we were going to get an entertaining Angelina this season. And some of it, the basic consensus me and Emma came to was that she's probably matured too much now, and it's like good for her as a person, but less good for us as viewers. And I also agree with what you're saying because I think that really shone through this episode. It's not just that she's like become probably a more calm, more mature person. You really get the impression that like she saw how she came off the last time she was on TV. And she was very conscious to not be that again.
Right.
And again, bravo for her, but boof, bad for us. So it's so it's like, we lost her. Angelina, but I don't know that she was ever going to be fun this season. So, it doesn't hurt that much.
Right. That's the thing is her entertainment value was not generally intentional on her part. Right. Like, so the fact that she was intentionally trying to avoid providing unintentional entertainment was like, oh, well, then shit. Why are you here?
To the point where, it would have been worse if the vote had gone the other way. Like, we would have lost a lot more entertaining. Whereas this is like, hey, good for you, Angelina. You had the experience, like she was not somebody I got the impression that I would like or that I did like. She was wildly entertaining, but I did not like her in David versus Goliath. Whereas by the time she signs off, it's like, yeah, I think I'd like a conversation with this Angelina, so it's like, again, a lot of this is for me retreading what I said last week, but it didn't change. I don't know that Angelina was ever going to be entertaining this season, so might as well be her. I guess.
And I mean, before anybody gets too excited, we have no plans to talk to Angelina. No. Like as we discussed earlier this season, like if we were going to, it'd be Kamilla. That's the only person on this cast that I think that we'd be interested in actually talking to.
But no, like if she's like the mother of a kid that I'm coaching on my team or something, like we're having like a parent function.
Sure.
It should probably be a decent vibe. I come up with specificities because I don't have otherwise casual conversations with people. It really has to be like, in what world would I be forced to talk to somebody?
That's right. When would I have to engage in conversation with someone?
Yeah, that's like, or like I wouldn't mind this Angelina as a coworker. David versus Goliath, Angelina would be a fucking nightmare as a coworker, right?
I feel like I've experienced similar vibes to that one before as a coworker, and it's not pleasant. I will say that. It's a lot of work. So let's talk about how that vote went down, right? Because you did mention there were other ways that it could have gone down. The Stephanie vote was just never going to happen, which is too bad because I would have been totally fine with that one. You know, like I agree with you. I don't think we're ever going to get good Angelina. That said, there is no good Stephanie. Yeah. Like I'm not there was no possibility of an enjoyable Stephanie. So like her going would have been great. But there was also the possibility that Ozzy could have gone for Christian. Why do you think he ultimately didn't decide to pull the trigger on that? Because he was clearly pretty pissed and seemingly debating it.
Yeah, so obviously he's pissed when they get back for tribal council. We'll talk about that a bit more after this. But, he meditates and seems like he smooths it over, but he lets us know that he hasn't really. Like, it's still something that he is pursuing. We see him bring it up to Angelina. We see him bring it up to Emily, I believe, even. So it's like, it is something he's pursuing to the point where it felt like it should happen. I think ultimately, though, he realized that Christian, if he is actually going to work with him, is far more valuable to him than Angelina, because literally anybody would be, like Ozzy specifically. And so, I mean, I guess the fucking shot in the dark really did it, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he might have just been sold before that point. That was like a really odd play. First of all, like it was just, it really hangs a lantern on the fact that like Ozzy's just not good at the strategy stuff, like at all. I mean, and also just the social game, pretty fucking weak. Like Ozzy just has the physical game, which is why I've never really been all that interested in him. And yet this season, super invested in my boy Ozzy. Like I don't know why, but it seems to be a pretty universal opinion. We've got a lot of commenters that have said that. People I've talked to have said that. You and I both kind of feel like, I don't know, man, something about this Ozzy. I feel like I like him more. I actually, one thing that I did enjoy about him this episode is that he said, the meditation it's so good for me and my mind and everything. And then immediately proves that that's bullshit by saying like, actually, I didn't really forgive him or anything.
But maybe it helps him at least to not be a dick like to him, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's fine. So like, and that's something, right? That's like trying to outwardly control your emotions, even if you're bubbling up inside, is an important part of a social game.
Yeah, and honestly, like the fact that he recognizes, like, I need to calm the fuck down. I can't be flying off the handle over this minor thing. Like, I should apologize and try to course correct. Good for him. Look at how our boy Oscar has matured.
He's trying,
That's right.
Not like, does it fool anybody? No, I mean, Christian thinks he's either a dickhead or a shithead or something.
Right.
We should have a poll. Remember we used to do polls?
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to. But it's like, do you think he said dickhead or do you think he said shithead?
I feel like he said dickhead.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Shithead would have been more fun.
It would have.
But yeah, so it's like, I do think the shot in the dark helps a bit. Like, I think what it is he wants to trust Christian, or at the very least, he wants to work with Christian because he wants to vote out Angelina. He's been pretty clear about that, right? So, but he's like, how do I do that, right? So, like, anything, like this symbol. Now, what's interesting is, like, Christian really, like, acted like he had to think about it. It's like, there's nothing really to think about here, other than, am I going to debase myself for Ozzy? But you don't have the votes to get rid of Ozzy. So the answer is yes, you are. But, like, you weren't going to use it, right? Like, I can't imagine a scenario where Christian uses his shot in the dark, because he needs the vote.
Exactly.
So at that point, you're not really surrendering much. So might as well just do it. If it means something to Ozzy, then cool. If not, then, oh, well, you did it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not like, haha, we tricked you and now we can vote you out. It's like, well, yeah, that would be a trick anyway.
Right.
Like, for me, I need to trust that it's going to happen, because without my vote, it's probably not going to happen at all. So either you got me or you don't.
Yeah. And I mean, really, it just did seem like, which I think Christian nailed. Like, it just seems like Ozzy wanted to extract a pound of flesh, right? Like, he just wants something like, show me that you're sorry. And this was a physical token of his apology. And then Ozzy was like, okay, fine, sure. Just like some measure of trust, which I think realistically, what probably happened is just Emily didn't want to vote out Christian.
Yeah.
And Ozzy has so latched on to Suri and Emily that he's just, he's going to see how that experiment goes. He's going to let them do the strategic and social gaming for him and see how that works out. And I think he's just committed to that plan. And it's like, okay, well, Emily says we shouldn't vote him out. I guess we're not going to vote him out.
Yeah, which I don't. I think that's probably a good idea for Ozzy. Yeah, like we have some issues with how good a choice Emily is, but of the options he currently has, probably the best one. Yeah, like better than himself as an option.
Yep.
Certainly better than Christian, who just blindsided him. Stephanie, there is no good version of her, so It's like bide your time until you can get back with Suri. Emily, I guess, will do.
No, I mean, I think the real way that this shakes out is he obviously needs to fall under the tutelage of the Riz God.
It'll probably get there, but
we'll discuss that one in a bit. But yeah, I think it's really just that I do think he's genuinely recognized, like, this is not me. I am not about this life. I don't have a social game. I'm not great at strategy. I think he probably is saying that more than believing it. I do think he believes he's got some level of strategy, right? But like, to a degree, he recognizes I'm not on the level of some of these people. So,
yeah. I mean, he is missing that algorithm.
Yeah, which, what a burn, right? Like,
yes.
he's like, how do I make this nerd hurt? I was like, get him, Oscar. Stuff him in the fucking locker.
So how did you feel about like how frustrated Ozzy was and then how frustrated Christian was in response?
I mean, like, it was very funny that like Christian couldn't believe how Ozzy was acting. Like, okay, I mean, the stated reason that you left him out of the vote was essentially like, well, we didn't trust you enough to tell you. Oh, and yet somehow he's upset. I can't imagine why. This guy who thought he was maybe aligned with you. And then you tell him like, we didn't feel like we could trust you on that. Like, well, A, first of all, they were right. But B,
like, so it's like, even says as much.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you can see both sides of this particular issue, right? Like, they didn't trust me. How dare they? They were right, though. Like, I absolutely would have sold their asses out to Mike. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just Christian seemingly not understanding why Ozzy is so pissed. Like, really? Do you not? I mean, come on. I understand it from both sides. But also, they were both being a little bit dramatic on this one.
Yeah. Oh, which is great.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Christian was being ridiculous. Yeah, of course. Like, again, maybe you're just not used to somebody with that level of frustration because, Christian himself, took it like such a champ when people were trying to vote him out his last season. It's like, that's not how this works, And it really feels like he hadn't fully calculated. Like, he just thought, we'll just keep Ozzy in the dark here for his own good. And it's like, that's why maybe he shouldn't have done that move last week anyway. Yeah, again, it's hard to say. He survived this week, and then now we know like this probably won't be the thing that costs him. So it was probably a good thing to get rid of Mike and Angelina. But yeah, when you make a move like that and you're excited about your 3-2-1 and all that, you have to recognize there might be some fallout that you're going to have to put some work into.
Yep.
And some of his reaction to Ozzy's reaction really felt like Christian wasn't ready for that kind of work. Like, like, I just thought I'd explain this, and he'd be like, oh, okay, I see it your way. It's like, not necessarily. Maybe that's not how everybody operates there, Christian.
It was his very big science teacher vibes, right? Like, I'm a STEM teacher. All I have to do is logically explain, and everyone will understand. Nah, man, that's not how this particular experiment goes. It made sense for Ozzy to be pissed because, if they're your allies and they openly tell you, oh, we couldn't trust you with telling you who we were going to vote for because you were going to snitch. It's like, well, shit. Why would you, if you didn't trust me then, why are you going to trust me in the future? Like, what's going to suddenly change? So yeah, I get Ozzy being pissed, but also you're right. Like, give it up, Christian. It's so what? Of course he's going to be pissed. You don't get to be all dramatic about it. He's fine.
Yeah, like, I didn't have as big an issue with Christian taking that swing last week. I did think it put him in some danger, but I also thought, like, in the end, I don't know that Ozzy and Angelina are going to work together. So
Right.
Christian will probably be able to get through this. And I was right. But yeah, it's just Christian. He's allowed to be mad, and that's something you have to deal with. You made this situation. Now you need to undeal with it. So Christian's frustration, I was just like, whatever, man. You made this bed. Ultimately, though, I think Christian has as big an ego as Ozzy does.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Very much feels like Christian feels like this is his season. The edit certainly seems to think that. And I don't have any issue with either, but this is something he's going to have to deal with. Yeah, man. Especially in a season like this. You do stuff like this, you got to be ready for the fallout.
I mean, it's, back in the John Cochran days, you would say all the time, like, nah, this little fucking nerd is self-deprecating, but really he's got a massive ego. Yeah, same shit with Christian. And probably earned. Also, speaking of Cochran, how did you like the fucking flashback?
That was fantastic.
Amazing. Like, A+ editing job by this Survivor crew. Like, how cool was it to Christian to recall that scene, and then the editors go back, pull the scene, frame the shots in the same way, have Christian saying roughly the same dialogue. Like, beautiful. Well, I love the callback. That was amazing. Yeah.
I'll say that's actually been a big difference of this season from every other returnee season. It's every returnee season is informed by the returnee's past experience.
Absolutely.
Right? But a lot of it, and so, as these have gone on, they have allowed a little bit more reference. But this season is just fully diving in. And to the point where it's the biggest topic of conversation usually is just how much trauma everybody seems to be dealing with right here. And to the episode titles, this is Open Wounds. Last week was Knife to the Heart. So fucking emo, right?
Yep.
But here's the thing, I don't think that's actually unique to this season. What's unique about it is that the edit is leaning all the way in.
Right.
Obviously, it's there for second chances. Everybody's like, this is my second chance. This is why I'm going to do this, right?
Of course.
But this one, yeah, they're doing stuff like this. So there's so much footage from the past and just deeply referential. The whole Rizo Charlie thing is centered around Charlie's past experience. And I just think it's actually making this season, because we viewers also come in with all of this baggage, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know this. That's the beauty and fun of returnee season. So I do think in that scene and the stuff we're seeing after and all that, I think it's actually added a fun dimension, because those are the things that were sometimes left unsaid in returnee seasons. But returnee seasons are mostly defined by A, what happened in past season, and B, pre-gaming. Well, they can't ever really show the pre-gaming. There's nothing to show. Right. Even if they let them talk about it, that's telling. Showing is better.
Yep.
Obviously, a lot of storytelling in Survivor is telling, but still, in that scene we see showing. Right. So you're not gonna ever have that stuff, but at least they can give us, everybody here is just trying to overcome what happened to them in the past. Everybody but D, I suppose, is trying to overcome what happened in the past. And I don't know. I think it's a really interesting element.
Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed that, because it's been great. And actually, the scene in particular, sometimes you get callbacks to much more memorable things, but Ozzy being burned and that specific conversation with Cochran, I don't necessarily remember that. I remember Ozzy being pissed at Cochran, as was the whole rest of Ozzy's tribe. So. Yeah. But it was so cool to get that kind of flashback and to see directly how the past is informing the present, right? It was really cool. And I hope they keep up with it, which I think they will, because you're right. It just seems to be a theme this season, and it's exactly the type of shit that Jeff loves, right? It is how people are dealing with the things that have happened to them in the past. It's the Probst of today is so into these stories, right? And I'd much rather have these than the family flashbacks and shit that we were getting for some of those 40 seasons, right? Keep it to Survivor
Some of which were very meaningful. Some was that's a pretty tough sob story. That's not I didn't run as well in a race or something. I think it was one.
Right. But yeah, we should. Speaking of our emo boys, let's talk some Charlie and Rizo, because I had kind of enjoyed the Bitter Charlie run.
Yes.
I fucking loved initial reveal where he was like, Rizzo didn't vote for his number one. Very fun. Great.
So funny.
Then when it came back, I'm like, oh yeah, no, he really is kind of dwelling on this. And then in this episode, when it was genuinely something that he talked about probably 4 or 5 times, it's like, okay, wait a minute. How much was he actually saying this? Because holy shit, this is like an obsession at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't just an editorial invention. Like
No.
there's enough different footage that it really seems. And like, frankly, did you like look at the guy's face? And obviously, everybody in Survivor is a little hungry and gaunt, but like he looks like genuinely haunted in some of these confessionals when he's talking about it. It's just like, damn, bro. But I mean, like he came that close to winning $1 million. Like, yeah, I guess that would actually affect people.
Yeah. So anyway, I did enjoy that we had Bitter Charlie. Just got a little more concerning in this episode, right? Where it seemed like, oh, this is a funny, like, I get why he hates this guy. It was, sight unseen. But like in this episode, I was like, okay, but you're all right though, right, Charlie? Like everything okay?
Yeah. The answer is no.
You need to talk, buddy? I think he needs to talk. Also, that overly rehearsed line as he was doing the vote out, it was too much. I assume that was some Swiftie shit. I'm not deep in the Taylor Swift oeuvre to know, but like it has to be. So it was even funnier than that Rizzo took him out on some Taylor Swift shit, like Operation Bad Blood, Chef's Kiss. What a absolute turn of events there.
So that was a little tough because like I like Charlie more than I like Rizzo.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then like when the storyline was first introduced, it would have been so much funnier if the reason Rizzo goes home is that like this otherwise, anodyne Christian lie would be the reason why, right? But like it being the reason why Charlie goes home instead, it's like a little tragic. And again, not even like, again, like he got outplayed. Like I'm not like, poor Charlie is screwed over or anything like that. But it's just like, yeah, it's not about Rizzo at all.
Yep.
It's clearly for Charlie. And maybe because, and I think overconfident because they have, he feels like they've got the numbers and all that. It's just like, he's not seeing Rizzo here. It's like, this is my chance to vote out Maria or something. And it's just like, man. Like, it's kind of a theme, like, while as interesting as it is to bring back the performer things a couple times, and this was one of them, and Aubry's been this way the entire season, it's like, man, this isn't, like, good for you. Right. Like, this isn't healthy. And I suppose if he had gotten that vote, maybe he could have had some form of catharsis, but instead, the way it goes down, it's like, damn. That's a tough one, bro.
It is, like, of all the ways to go out, right? And just, not only like betrayed by your new person that you decided was Maria, but also like it's just to have your favorite artist used against you. Like, your own branding stolen and then used as a knife to shank you with.
Well, and then in the episode, you also, when he gets to watch it at home and like D is basically like, Charlie's the dumbest player out here. All like tough.
Yeah.
Tough stuff. All because, he couldn't. And
Burns.
I kind of get it. It was like, he couldn't get over what happened. That sounds like a pretty tough thing to get over.
Yeah.
That you lose, the game that you've been working really hard at, that you love and all that. Again, a pretty significant financial reward.
Yep. Because
the person you were working with was just like, nah. Like, you didn't even betray her. It's not even one of those situations where it's like, you gotta, there's consequences. It's just like, no, I don't want you to win. No, it's like, that's tough.
Yep.
And, again, I think it's only been like a year or so, like maybe 2 years, like less than 2 years. So
yeah, for sure. Less than 2.
I get. So then, like, and I love that, the honesty. Again, it was funny when we first hear it, but then as you see this episode go down, it really, like, I think he was doing fine until that, like, I didn't vote for my biggest ally. Because, like, we were talking, it's like, well, just don't make Riz your biggest ally. And then you don't have to worry about it. But it wasn't about that anymore, very clearly.
Yep.
That it wasn't about, I can't let him be on a jury. It's just like, this is my opportunity for revenge.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not, man. But, damn.
Yeah. he just decided to make Rizo an analog for Maria, and it's like I'm gonna take it out on this guy the way I should have taken it out on Maria.
Well, I had no chance because I thought we were locked in.
Yep.
So brutal.
Yep.
What's also funny is that Savannah's at where the survivors go after they get voted out.
Ponderosa. That's the one.
Yeah, like she was the most recent person voted out prior to him. I think. Who went out last week? No, I guess Mike White. But Mike White took off, so he wasn't there.
Okay.
But Savannah was. So he told her. And she's like, oh, I was his number one. Like, so he's probably like that night. Like, God damn, how must that have felt? It's like, oh.
Yeah, just
because clearly, if that doesn't happen, I don't think he's the target.
No, and that's the thing. It's like,
for one, he's probably not pushing for Rizo so much, but he mostly doesn't do that psycho like waking him up in the middle of the night to talk about the idol shit.
Yes, which what a move, man! Like, okay, that's creepy as shit. Like, again, not a big Rizzo fan, but very much on Rizzo's side here. Like, hey, buddy, you should maybe let me sleep. What's going on? Like, it was bad all around. Huge self-inflicted wounds from Charlie, and he already had several he was dealing with as well. So yeah, it was not a great look. And as you mentioned,
it was a good look for. Maybe sadly, I know frustratingly for a lot of people in our comments, and clearly you as well from the reaction. Rizzo keeps on winning.
Man, it's so disappointing that he's actually pretty good at Survivor.
He's really good at Survivor.
It's just,
I think, we don't know how this season's going to go, but from the evidence before, where sometimes you could have like written it off, it's like, oh, those people are idiots. But now, it's like, I think the kid's got something.
I know, which it makes me mad. Like, he doesn't have it. Why is it working? He shouldn't be good, but he's good. I mean, I don't want him to be good. I don't enjoy him being good. But like, I mean, you can't argue with the results. It does feel like, and you'll appreciate this, back in the days when I could be a Kobe hater, right? Like, I was just like, fuck that guy. And it was so great. And then at a certain point, I realized, like, I'm only saying fuck that guy because, like, he's actually very talented. He's really good at this. And I get upset that he's good at this against teams that I'm rooting for. It's like, oh, okay, he's just a good basketball player. Similarly, like, I don't want to watch Rizzo do this shit, but I have to acknowledge, like, all right, well, I guess he's fucking good at this. So, yeah, sure.
Yeah, like, again, it's kind of a special talent that, like, when he should be really in trouble, no moves to make, things open up for him. Again, sometimes it's lucky,
Oh, for
he
sure.
seems to come to him. But for one, she thinks to come to him, obviously for reasons like he's put out there, right?
Yep.
But it's not just that. Just like when that last season, they lose the vote. There's only 3 of them. Split tribe. It's just him, but he has an idol. So that's all this. He doesn't just let the good fortune happen. He goes on the offense.
Right.
So it's not just like, I mean, like, Dee's like, hey, would you want to work together? Yeah, of course I would. Which anybody does, right? Anybody points at, especially if you're on the bottom like that. Rick Devens does it with Jonathan, right?
Yep.
It's that now it's like, okay, and we should go after Charlie. Like, it's not just enough to be like, yeah, I'll stay safe. Anybody but me. Once he has any kind of opportunity, he'll boldly go on the offense in ways that would make a lot of people uncomfortable, in ways that shouldn't work. But I have enough evidence to say, like, man, tip of the hat, kid, because I thought Charlie was pretty good at Survivor. Now I think, again, emotionally traumatized, wasn't good this time.
Exactly.
But Rizzo completely outmaneuvered him.
Yes. He can definitely beat wounded Charlie. We can chalk that one up. Speaking of the anybody but me strategy, because let's talk about how Rizzo ended up winning this, because he, of course, had to get people on his side, right, to get this vote to go down. And we saw him, at least if we believe the chronology of the edit.
Sequence,
yeah, he was making all these connections, moves, whatever you want to call them, this episode. So within, a 2-day span. And yeah, so first of all, he talks to Dee, right? Dee, as a former winner, is like somehow interested in pairing up with this complete unknown Rizo. You feel like that was the right move for her at this point?
So as it's happening, I'm like, well, for one, I didn't want it to happen.
Right.
I want Rizzo gone. And again, like, I actually say that as somebody who like enjoyed him last season, and I thought he was the best player last season. But again, as I said, it would have been funnier if that's why he sows the seeds of his own destruction. And two, I kind of feel like it'd be fair if Genevieve got one of those fucking idols that she found. But so first it's happening, but then like as it's happening, it's like, well, I can see where like where she's thinking. It's like, yeah, okay, I have this alliance from the people that I was randomly placed with on Kahlo, but like, is that really an alliance that works for me? Right. And we saw in the original Kahlo tribe, like, she and Kamilla and Tiffany form like this young women's group.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 3 out of 8, right? Like, that's not enough people. And certainly like Chrissy was like, we should go after D. Now it sounded like Chrissy was going to lose that, but it's like, so I could see like, well, like D's thinking is that I want to form a group that more aligns to what I need versus just going along with like Jonathan and Charlie, right? So that all made sense. And I think it would make sense, especially, she comes out ahead here. And like, I think you have somebody like Rizo can't provide any connections, but also is unconnected. So thus you could be his connection, right?
Yes.
Sari in this scenario is the same way. D was already party to the fact that like seemingly Jonathan and D wanted to vote her out, but like that was kind of the vibe that people wanted to, target her. So it's like, that's somebody else that could depend on me. And I think if this were to stay as like the tribe that they're in configuration for a while, that makes a lot of sense for D. Where I'm worried that it makes less sense is, and of course, obviously, I know what she doesn't know is that this is the last day of this configuration. But like, she has to at least know, like, none of these configurations are long for this game, right?
Right.
I'm not going to fault her for not anticipating a 17-person merge.
Right.
But still, and it's just like, I don't know if that part was good for her. Like, I think winning here sets her up with a nice 4-person alliance that I could see works in her favor, especially because, like, Suri can be a bit of a shield. Rizzo's, unknown factor can be not quite a shield for being a winner, but like another thing that could distract people. But I don't know if pissing off, like, Jonathan is worth it for the fact that this isn't the tribe anymore after this. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I guess when it got to the vote, my thought was, I guess, maybe the her and Jonathan thing wasn't all that tight, which fine. I mean, again, honestly, for D, as a winner, she should just be happy anytime the heat isn't on her at the vote, right? Like the fact that there were candidates that were not her, it's like, great, amazing. When we're not talking about me, that's wonderful because I'm the last winner left. I'm shocked that I'm not getting brought up. And then, again, she did have the Kamilla bond from earlier on. And now looping in Sari, who we previously heard her say that she wanted gone because she's such a big threat. Who knows? Maybe her opinion on Sari has changed. Maybe her opinion on Jonathan has changed. I don't know what ultimately motivated that vote, but I think for D, there was not necessarily a long-term concern in this vote, other than like, hey, I'll pick up Rizo and then we'll get through this vote. I don't know that she has had super strong allies that we've seen, other than some, mention of like working with Kamilla and Tiffany. But again, that never got tested. So do we know how tight they were? No.
Yeah, however, it's like, so like you can see Rizzo being that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. That's the thing is, however, now she's maybe got an ally she can trust in Rizo. And then she has had a vote with Kamilla. So we've got a little bit of like experience working together now, right? So I'm interested in moving on to talking about Kamilla because that is, of course, where my fandom lies. Yeah. But the decision is kind of the same for her, I think. And
I think ours is even simpler. This is what D wants. Who's she going to side with, D or Jonathan? It's
that's
kind of
right. I mean, and my thought is sort of similarly, like Kamilla's playing with house money as well. Like Charlie and Rizo are probably roughly interchangeable to her, right? And if those two are gunning for each other, great. That keeps her safe. What does she care? Ultimately, who goes? And so, yeah, I think it probably did come down to the fact that like Cirie and Dee were down to vote for Charlie. Like, okay, great. Then I'm on board. Like if she's like just looking around and seeing like, okay, where's the vibe going from the people that I see more of myself in? Like, okay, Jonathan's going this way. I'm not really a big Jonathan girl. So I'm gonna lean towards, one of the greatest players ever. And then also Dee. Although I have enjoyed the fact that last week Kamilla was actively hanging on Jonathan as he swam. Like A+ content, so good. And that also that Kamilla doesn't give a fuck. She's like, yeah, right. Why wouldn't I? He's a great swimmer. Yes, absolutely. I thoroughly enjoy Kamilla. I am rooting so hard for her now, especially now that like Angelina's gone and wasn't giving me what we wanted. Like Kamilla does give me what we want. So I'm all in on Kamilla finding an alliance that works for her and gets her far in this game.
Yeah, no, it's just like I thought, they frame it as like Camilla's swing vote, and certainly like, she could have been if she chose. But I kind of knew that Charlie was doomed because it's like, at that point, Camilla's choice is, do I want to team with Dee and Cirie or Devins and Jonathan? Kind of think I knew which direction she was going to go.
Yep.
Kind of getting back to Rizo, though, because I didn't put this down, but like about, praise again, like how he's doing so well. So Dee brings the plan to like, hey, you want to align? Great. That's the opening, right? But then we see him, and obviously like Dee probably did as well, right? We only get what we get. But we see him form that bond with Cirie, and how we know it's not fake is that Cirie tells him about her extra vote.
Which was wild because I remember thinking too, I was like, all right, I guess Cirie's going to be like, okay, I'll work with this relative unknown and we'll see how this goes. I thought that was just some surface level shit. But then she like genuinely, I think he is the only one outside of Ozzy that knows about the extra vote. And I was like, what? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, I was so prepared for her to be like, yeah, he told me about his idol or the idol. I don't think he tells her that he has it.
No.
He told Dee that he has it.
Right.
And like, we don't tell secrets like that. And like, I'm totally waiting for Cirie to be like, I'm going to use this.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she just opened up. And again, maybe like for her, that could be recognizing like in the new era, people just do this stuff. And frankly, like, as we've discussed in the past, most value of extra votes is like in group settings,
Yep.
It's not really a very useful solo reward, but the secret itself has power. And like, she didn't need to do that with Rizo, right? Like Rizo isn't offering her a path in, he's trying to build a bridge. But he did that. So like that again, we'll see how that plays for Cirie, and I'm always going to trust that she has thoughts of that. But it kind of shows, Rizzo's good at this stuff. Like,
couldn't believe it.
For whatever reason, people just they're disarmed by him.
Yep.
And I think the goofy young guy vibe that it works, like we saw that in his first try where they're like, this lazy sack of shit. And then they're like, Rizo. Like within the same episode, right? That like Colby was like that. And then they're feeding him the information. That's why he knows about this Billie Eilish idol, which he just calls the Billie Eilish idol. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know about the boomerang part.
Does he not?
Why would he? It doesn't. Well, all you get is an idol and the rules. But
that's true. Okay. Yeah.
Like when they were sharing that they gave it to Ozzy, they might have left out the boomerang part.
That's true.
Because they don't want like this kid to know that at some point we're hoping Genevieve gets an idol. Or two.
Yeah. Also, I was just disappointed to have the boomerang dropped. I did enjoy that everybody is like, Billie Eilish idol? So good. And we got Cirie saying it. We had Kamilla saying it.
Twice.
Kamilla said it twice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she got to play the same, like, Billie Eilish idol? 2 times.
The second time really underscores and highlights how good she is at lying to people in their face. It's just one of her great talents.
So on board, man. I really hope she goes far. But yeah, you're right. That was something that we probably should have, like, that's a big bullet point on the Rizo as a good Survivor player resume, is that Cirie, an absolute legend of this game, really did not have to share that information with him, but chose to share it with just him. As far as we know.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah. As far as we know, just him, which I'm stunned. I just did not see it coming.
But yeah, and then just kind of finish my thought on D is like, yeah, so I think this is absolutely like a strong short-term win, but it does, like, she could be targeted for this. Like, it just would have been easy, no blowback to just vote out Rizzo, right? Everybody would be happy coming out of that tribe. It could have been everybody but him voting that way. And then there'd be and that's, what Christian was striving for earlier, was that sort of thing. And then before he went off on this 3-2-1 tangent.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I can see her like trying to create a more advantageous situation going forward. And as one of the biggest threats in the game, like, I can't fault her for wanting to take control and play more offensively. I just, again, there are potential consequences. This is what I was kind of getting at. It'd be funner to be like, or either D was amazing or everybody thinks D is. No, it's like, I can see both sides of the argument on this one. Let's see how it plays out.
Yep. So we got 2 different tribal councils in tonight's episode. And then we also, at those tribal councils, we got Probst having a little fun. He's like loosening up the collar. He's playing a little impression game for the kids. How'd you like Probst's impressions?
So Jonathan one was a little shaky. Like, other than like saying Mr. Jeff, I wasn't quite sure if that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But the Colby one, bang on.
Yep.
And then Christian was a bigger, like, it was like he had to stretch farther for that one. I thought he did really well.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot to a Jonathan impression other than the Mr. Jeff thing, right? Like, you get the
and
voice.
And then maybe get into the physical part. Yeah, and a little, like, the southern, the Alabama accent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It's like he gained confidence, right? Like, after that first one, and they're like,
I don't think he knew he was going to do it. Then suddenly he was doing it.
They're like, keep it going, and he's like, all right, man. And he's like, it's just like when I was spitting bars last week. You guys want more? Also, they referenced the rap in this tribal council, which was like, oh boy.
There weren't like some impressions left on the cutting room floor. Like he starts, getting into like a Q impression, and it's like Michael Scott doing Chris Rock.
Oh no. I mean, if that happened, at least he had the sense to leave that one on the cutting room floor, Like, I'll give him that. You let the rap stay in the show, but like, oof. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it too. Like, I liked Probst adding a little levity to the tribal council.
Man, this is why we love him. You and I specifically, right?
He's corny as shit.
That Australian guy could never, right? Like,
nope.
And remember when like we finally watched that show, and like obviously not quite the version of the show, but we watched the one this summer that Sri was in, and it was awesome. And we're all like, "This is your guy," because everybody kept saying, "Oh yeah, Jeff sucks," which has been what people have been said online since Usenet or whatever, right? And then I was like, all right, let's see this guy, and he was just like nothing.
I mean, he was like genuinely a fucking generic knockoff of Jeff. Like, it was just like a poor imitation of Jeff. It wasn't even like he goes a whole different direction. He's like, he just tries to be Jeff Probst, but he's worse at it. It's like, what? Like, you guys like this? Nah, not this guy.
Desperately trying, seemingly, again, we only know him from that, but like avoiding injecting any kind of personality into the scenario.
Right.
I guess maybe it's the thing. People hate that Jeff does that. And like, well, if he's a part of the show, I'd like him to do shit. This guy, like, you could just, I feel like printouts on the screen could do what he's doing. Or like the Amazing Race guy, whose most of his hosting is like over, like voiceover. He's not actually there during the race, right? He's there when they end their race. So it's like this, like, he's so generic that his name is Jonathan. Like, that's not who interesting has ever been named John, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's like, can you imagine that guy trying to do this? Now, maybe because, like, is it hard for an Australian guy to do an impression of other Australians? Do they ever sound different? I don't know.
They say they're no with 4 syllables instead of 3. It's just, I enjoy Jeff Probst. Like, you accept what he is in totality, right? Like, there are obviously some very corny fucking things that he does. There's also like the like comfort food phrases that he always throws out, right? Like, you know what you're getting, and it's like, nah, he's a part of the show. And yeah, at times, is it a little eye rolly? Yeah, of course it is. But at a certain point, like, you've been eye rolling for so long, you're like, nah, okay, I kind of like rolling my eyes at this point. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's just sort of like
Speaking of eye rolling, we didn't actually. I forgot to write this down. You had thoughts on Coach?
Oh, fuck. Yeah. So we did get the Coach scene in this episode where he's bestowing fucking nicknames on people, which actually a couple of commenters, I saw this right before the episode. So a couple of our commenters are like, I live in Japan and I'm pretty familiar with the culture and like I think I know the lore and I've never heard of this shit that Coach says, which would be very on brand, right? For Coach to just been like, there's this ancient Japanese legend. And you just like, that sounds true. And it's like, Coach is fucking AI, just spitting some stuff at you. And you're like, I don't know anything about this, but that must be right. Right? Like just made up some bullshit out of whole cloth. And it's like, yeah, you're like the Oaken warrior. Oh my God. That's exactly the impression I get of you. And I'm the Wave Walker or whatever the fuck he calls himself. Wave Walker might be Zelda. Was that Zelda? Tidewalker. Yeah.
And what I like about it is when he's presenting it, especially to, I think, Colby, but probably to both of them. Like, and you could mark this as growth for Coach, but I don't think that's what's happening. He's tentative, right? It's like, not the Dungeons and Dragons wizard shit. It's like he wouldn't have been that in the past because he was always doing it with like younger people that he's like, whereas he's clearly concerned that Colby's going to be like, the fuck this is? Like, what is this? So like, no. This is a weird nerd shit.
And in fairness,
stuff.
If you see Colby's face during that scene, you can understand why he might be hesitant. Because it did not look in that scene as though Colby was like, this rules.
Yeah.
And then we get the confession from Colby and he was like, that kind of ruled. And I was like, what? What?
Yeah, I know.
No.
It'd be the other way, Colby.
Come on.
But like Colby just seems, and again, edit driven, possibly. Again,
sure.
I like people like that's just the edit. You know a secret version of the show that you get to comment on? We only see the edit. We don't know the other stuff. But like he just seems committed to enjoying this experience no matter what.
Yeah.
And I guess that's part of it, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that could be it too. Like in the moment, he's probably sitting there like, this is so awkward. What is happening right now? And then afterwards, you get to laugh about the awkward experience. And he was probably then, he might be like, okay, it was fun to laugh about that. So that did rule. Like that was so great that he did that fucking cringy shit to me.
Yeah. And it's just like you didn't read any of this, but like the pregame stuff, and like everybody seemed to want to meet Coach and work with Coach, right?
Sure.
And I think it's a part of that, right? It's like this crazy Survivor experience is also Coach and the weird ass nicknames, right? And the other part is like we see that like Coach really is confident that he's in with everybody. That's basically the scene we got from It's Tribe.
Yep.
And we see that even like Aubry reaches out this week. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I mean, it is very funny that, like, Coach is just, like, this nexus that just sucks in all the people that I'm least interested in seeing. Right? Like, of course, he immediately aligns with Chrissy, and now, like, Aubrey's getting sucked into this, too, and it's like, yeah, of course, sure, why not? Just all of you will be spokes on the wheel of Coach, and I can just be like, God, this is terrible every time I see you all on my screen, and of course, you're all working together. It'd be nice if Colby wasn't in that, just because I'd be more likely to enjoy the Colby experience. I don't like a Colby that's partnering with Coach and furthering Coach's goals. I do like Colby as like almost like the straight man, just figuring out like what's up with all these wacky fucking people. Like that would be a fun Colby. Also, the Jeff Probst impression of Colby would be a fun Colby. But yeah, it's just Coach draws these other shitty people in with him. And it's just like, oh, fucking of course. I need you all to leave en masse. Like if we do get like a triple boot and just Coach and Chrissy and Aubry all go home in the same week, it will be like one of my all-time favorite episodes.
At some point, we're going to find out why you've made this radical turn on Aubry that does not align at all with the way that you used to feel about her.
We keep open minds and allow our opinions to change. And my opinion has changed drastically on Aubry. Look at me, Angelina, who I was a hardcore fan of. it's just like, nah, that's it. This is not the Angelina I want. Like, no, that Aubry, I'm way out on. Like, Aubry had many chances
she's so
to get me
miserable this
out on
season,
her.
But I'll say, I don't know that everybody's like so excited to work with Coach because of what Coach is doing. That's obviously how he's going to interpret it.
Right.
I think everybody wants to work with Coach because they recognize he's the mark, right?
Yes, which I get, but also like I don't want him on my TV. I just
like Aubrey's like, I'm doomed. Nobody, Tiffany's the only person talking to me. You know who I think I can convince,
right? You know who's probably
all I gotta do is play to his, fragile but massive ego, and then suddenly he might think well of me.
Yeah, I feel like there's some other famous American who is very much that same way, who's super fucking objectionable, but also everyone realizes that all you have to do is, flatter him in the most mundane ways, and he will instantly believe you and be like, you are an amazing person. Can't quite think of what the name is, but I feel like we have a guy like that elsewhere outside of Survivor. Hey, do you have any more about this episode before we get to some fan mail?
No, I think we covered it.
All right. First of all, again, just to reiterate, like, Trisket was so kind to ask like why we didn't quit, and then you apparently fucking answered Trisket already. I was gonna gender Trisket, but I don't know. That could go either way. Hey, what's the pronoun for cracker? Nope.
Depends on what.
I was gonna say, hang on, that just got more problematic than I intended it to. Yeah. So anyway, also our new Gen Z correspondent had a good idea for some rankings, but we're gonna save that one because we already have one in mind for this week. And then I also got fan mail that says, "For your eyes only. After blowing for 3 hours, here is a..." Never mind. It gets worse from there. But just so you know, as a longtime perv, I did enjoy your fan mail. I'm gonna
not as bad as anybody is imagining.
No, it's actually worse. But it did make me laugh because I'm gross. Yes. So
yeah, we skipped that one.
Yeah.
If you want to answer the quitting question,
no, fuck that. No, apparently you were like sincere about it.
That's why you couldn't be around, man. You would have fucked the whole thing. I would have given the sincere answer of like all this, and then you would have been like, "Hey," and I'm like,
that would have been my exact answer. That was
my John impression. How is it?
Fucking
nailed it, right?
10 out of 10. Yeah. So anyway, no, I don't feel the need to answer it. It's just like I
didn't let Emily answer it either. Like, it's like, I literally said, this isn't for you.
It's not.
You have to sit here and listen.
It was very much us that had talked about quitting. But yeah, I am ultimately glad we didn't quit. There has been some slogs of seasons since then. But yeah, this season has been genuinely fun, and I do very much enjoy podcasting again. Will I feel the same way next season? We'll see. But right now, I'm enjoying it. So, yeah. And I do not like the sincere compliment. So,
I
like,
did knock them for that.
Okay, yeah, that was not
necessary.
Yeah, no, don't do that shit. If you want your fan mail read, again, no compliments. Just like, drag us. That's almost a guarantee. If it's a witty drag, yes, you're getting in the fan mail section. All right. Anyway. That's enough for now, because as I mentioned, we do have a ranking for this week, a top 3 that we came up with on our own, not the one that was submitted by our new Gen Z correspondent. And this one does relate to the Survivor episodes because it's top 3 Impressionists. I should point out, like, I was willing to go for specific impressions, but you're like, nah, let's broaden this shit out. So,
yeah, I'll say part of it is I thought that this is a good topic. I think you might have some good answers. I think our commenters have good answers. I went with the first names that popped into my head and didn't give it a lot more thought.
So did I, but they're also good answers.
Yeah, because I just, I'm heading on vacation tomorrow. I'm just kind of busy. I didn't have a lot of time to think. So I'm going to start my number 3. So I didn't even do it on honorable mentions. Again, maybe this isn't the right, but it popped into my head, and like I think he's underrated in some respects. And I'm going with Jamie Foxx, who like if you see him on talk shows, if you watch YouTube, well, that's probably how you'd see him on talk shows. I think those are on broadcast, but come on, he's really good, nails it. And part of I think the issue maybe like why he wouldn't be up here is like he was only on sketch comedy for like a few years at like the end of In Living Color when people were less interested, like, and then became like too talented to really like pursue this calling, like that, like now he's like big movie star and doing stuff.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that's the thing? Is his impression was so good? They're like,
he won a fucking Oscar,
right? They're like, you should be in a movie as this guy.
And what's great is so he nails it. He later does like a hit song and doing a Ray Charles impression.
That's what I'm saying.
But in the movie, he actually doesn't sing any of the Ray Charles songs.
I was just saying, like it's a mark of a pretty good impression that they're like, if we had to cast someone to play this guy, it should be you.
Yeah,
shit. All right.
Yeah, he nails it. And it's like he's just a super talented person.
Yep.
I think he's got a huge ego and hard to get along with. But like when they were like, we'll get somebody to come in and do the hand motions, like, actually, I'm a trained pianist. And like, so like he's not always playing the piano in the movie. Like all the music is like Ray Charles, which is kind of funny and interesting because that's always the choice when doing these musical biopics. Do you use the actual songs or do you have the actor do a version? And so there's an argument because like the singing is performance, right? And it's informing the character they're creating. But usually it's a massively bad idea. The songs are better with the person, but it's like, It's kind of interesting. It's like, I feel like he's the guy who could have pulled it off the best.
Yeah. He does do a great impression of him. So well played.
Right,
good choice. I also did not do any honorable mentions. Mine is someone that's not known for impressions, really. And this is not an impression of a famous person by any means. But the impressionist is Dave Chappelle, and the impression is white guy voice, because holy shit, his white guy impression, A+. Makes me fucking roll every time, because it's like the way he switches his voice into white guy mode, and I'm like, yep, nailed it. Got us. Yep, that's exactly how we sound. You, sir, are great at this.
Well, he also has the Prince impression, too, right?
Yeah, but no. We're going with white guy voice. That is the reason he's up here.
Bold in 2026 to be like, I'm going to rep for Dave Chappelle.
That's right. This is a problematic list. Don't you worry. All right, who's your number 2?
Going with the late, great Phil Hartman.
Oh, solid.
Yeah, he was referred to as the man of 1,000 voices, and I'll say on that, like he would do that bit on talk shows. It's like, 1,000 voices, give me a number, and they'd be like, oh, what's this one? And that's this person. And I gotta say, like that was probably fake, right? Like
of course.
He probably like came in with like 4 impressions. Like I don't care what numbers they're giving me. I'm doing Bill Clinton. I'm doing Ed McMahon. Frank Sinatra. It's like, number 82. That's of course Bill Clinton. But yeah, can't go wrong with naming him.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So again, my number 2 for a specific impression once more. Will Ferrell doing George W. Bush. Just absolute, like, for some reason, he did it so well that it's like, you almost think, did George W. Bush say strategery? Because it feels like he could have. And Will Ferrell said it in a very convincing way. Like, just A+ impression of George W. Bush. Really killed it in the moment. Back when, that was a terrible president that we had to worry about. The halcyon days.
Worse, right?
Yeah.
It's gotten so much worse that people like have sharded the paper over how bad he was. It's like, no.
Nope.
Really awful.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Horrific. Just turns out there was a bottom beneath that. All right.
Boy, you just say like that actually is a key to a good impression, is not just trying like sounding and performing like the person, but like finding an angle that you can. So the strategery, like it has to be more to that. Otherwise, it's just an impersonation, I guess.
Exactly.
So for my number 1 impressionist, it's a kind of a chalk pick, but sometimes, the most obvious pick is for a reason. And for that, I'm going to go with Claude Monet. Just a brilliant impressionist.
You fucking dork.
You get
All right,
the
Christian.
water lilies, with the
Jesus
bridge,
Christ.
some other things that like look like something, but only kind of. It's just a fantastic impressionist. Some people, might go Renoir, but no, it's definitely Monet.
Boo. That was so corny. Jesus Christ. Is that why you labeled this top 3 impressionists, you son of a bitch?
I came up with the stupid joke, yes. I mean, again, also I could there wasn't specific impressions that were leaping to my mind, but it's like, nope, I gotta do it.
That's why you talked me out of this, you fucking bastard. Okay. All right, so my number 1, it was so funny too, because when you were talking up your number 1, I was like, oh, okay, you're probably going to say the same name that I'm thinking of. It was, no, my name was Eddie Murphy, who absolutely kills impressions, plays multiple characters in movies all the time because he's very good at doing so. But specifically, the one that I had in mind was his Bill Cosby impression. I told you this was going to be a fucking problematic list. We have Dave Chappelle, George W. Bush, and now Bill Cosby.
Well, the special that Eddie Murphy really does is Bill Cosby. He holds up really well in modern ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing problematic in there whatsoever. But yeah, his Bill Cosby impression, fucking spot on. And then he actually does a Richard Pryor impression within his Bill Cosby impression. Also great, but the Cosby impression is what sells it. So there you go. That's my top 3 impressions.
I really like his Tracy Morgan that he's been done recently. That's pretty good stuff. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy does a Tracy Morgan?
Yeah.
I bet it's great.
Yeah. So there you go. Those are our top 3 impressionists. People can
son of a bitch
share their own homonyms. They're so good.
The thing is, it's so not your brand that, like, of course it's going to catch me off guard. You wouldn't do that shit. And of course you did.
There was a part of me that was almost worried that you beat me to the joke. Because that is more your brand, just probably a little highbrow, maybe this one. So that's why I had to make sure to go first. Because I got to get my number 1 out.
Oh, I could almost hear the sound of Emily's eyes rolling as she was listening to you do that for your number 1.
Now that'll have to sustain for a while.
All right. Well,
as mentioned, I will be gone for the next 2 weeks. I'm saying that for our listeners, they could, probably just
skip,
cancel their downloads.
Sure, yeah.
But also for you to remind you that, I won't be here next week. You got to get other hosts. Somebody else has to put the posts up. Don't
worry. Wednesday night, I'm gonna realize.
Yeah, when somebody texts you.
That's right.
15 minutes into the episode.
They're like, who's podcasting with you this week? Oh, fuck. Hang on. No, I actually do have the first week covered at least. And it will be Matt next week. So all the Matt stands can tune in next week and get their dose of Matt.
Meanwhile, I'll be traveling to the land of Tidewalkers.
You should investigate the lore.
I should.
Yeah, ask around, see if any Japanese people know the Oaken Barrel Warrior or whatever the fuck the name is.
Yeah, I should, because I'm very, conversant in the language.
Absolutely.
I know Sumimasan and arigato gozaimasu. And that's
konnichiwa.
The rest.
There you go.
I mean, ultimately, how much talking do I do anybody when I'm on vacations?
Right, we covered that already.
In real life.
Yep. Also, it does occur to me, like, it would be funny to do, like, the coach naming shit, but just genuinely, like, pick out video games, like, do the Wind Waker. Like, I am the Wind Waker. I am the Ocarina of Time. Just name yourself after fucking Legend of Zelda things. All right. We've clearly talked for way too long about this episode. PurpleRockPodcast.com is our site. You can check our fantasy leagues there. Text us some fan mail. Do a solid dig on us, and maybe I will read it next week when Matt and I are talking. Matt and I are going to clock in at like a 45-minute episode, so just prepare yourselves. Like I'm going to save you at least 20 minutes next week.
So nothing that podcasters, listeners like less than listening to podcasts.
That's right.
As soon as they hit play, it's like, could this experience be over?
When is this done? All right. Anything else, Andy?
Hit the music.
gotta know there'll be both highs and lows. That's okay.